this video, I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a magic ring and work in the round. First, we're going to take our yarn in our left hand and hold it like this and wrap the yarn around your finger and cross it like an X in the back. Then flip your hand over and hold the yarn tight. Now with your hook, go under the first loop, over the second loop, and pull through. Now, before you take your fingers out, pinch the loop where it meets the ring. Now slip your fingers out and switch your pinching fingers from your right hand to your left hand. Now we have one loop on our hook and we have an open ring. So we're going to yarn over and pull through to make one chain. So now we're going to single crochet, let's say 8 times into the ring. So first we'll insert our hook into the middle of the ring, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Now, just like normal, we'll yarn over and pull through both loops, and now we have one single crochet worked onto our ring. So now let's do that 7 more times. And you want to make sure that you crochet over the end of your tail while you're working these stitches. That'll help later when you're closing the ring. And don't worry about it looking short now. Once we pull it closed, it'll get a lot longer. Now that we have 8 stitches here, we'll take our tail and gently pull until our ring closes. Just don't pull too hard or you'll break the yarn. Now, drop the tail and grab the working yarn. With one loop on our hook, we're going to insert our hook into the top of the first stitch. Here's the chain, our starting chain. Here's the top of the stitch. So we're going to crochet right into these 2 loops, go under the 2 loops, yarn over, draw up a loop, and then pull straight through. And now we've just done a slip stitch and closed our first round. So to work our second round, you will yarn over and pull through and create a chain, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets straight into this first stitch where we just created the slip stitch. It'll be a little bit tight, but just go with it. When working in the round, to keep things flat, you have to do increase rounds. So the first round had 8 stitches. The second round will have 16 because we will be putting 2 stitches in each of the stitches around. So here we go. Inserting our hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. There's our first stitch. And now for our second stitch. Back into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through both loops. Now we have our first increase stitch. We have 2 single crochets in the first stitch. So going into the second stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through both. And again, we'll go back into that same stitch and work another single crochet. So now we have 4 stitches in the 2 stitches from the previous round. So now I'm going to continue that all the way around until I have 16 stitches. Now to close this round, we'll do the same thing we did in the first round. Here's our starting chain, and here is our first stitch. So we're going to go into these loops right here. So insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, and go straight through that loop. Now we've done a slip stitch and closed our second round. Now I'll show you what to do when you're ready to finish your circle. So first we'll cut the yarn. Pull your yarn straight through. Now let's close the center of the ring first. So I like to pull it until it's all the way closed. I don't like to leave a gap. So take your yarn, twist it really tight, and then fold it over, create a little nubby, and then with your darning needle, take it and just kind of get that end through there. So here's how I finish off my magic ring. We're gonna go do a lap this way, and then we'll bring the yarn back through this way, and then for a third round we'll go back this way. That's going to prevent the yarn from ever coming undone. It can't really wiggle around when it's moving 3 different directions. So I'm just going to take my needle and just kind of make my way through the middle of this first round of stitches on the back side. You want to do this on the inside where no one's going to see it. So once you feel like you've made a full circle around, or just about, then you're going to go into the next loop over from where you ended. So see how the yarn comes out here. You want to let it pass over this loop so that it has something to hold on to, otherwise it'll just, you know, unravel itself. So we're going to skip this one and go straight back through this one and do the same thing, just go all the way around, a few stitches at a time. We want to make this nice and secure so it never ever comes unraveled. Okay, that's 2. Now again, we'll go back, but we're going to skip a loop so that our yarn stays put. And then once you feel good about that, take your snippers and cut it as close as you can without cutting the other stitches, leaving very little evidence of where you bound off. As for the top, again, take your yarn and twist it really tight, making it very thin, and then twist it over. That really helps get it in there. Okay, so you're going to go straight down through the next stitch and just kind of wiggle it down in between the stitches and pull it. And don't pull it too tight because it'll pucker, but if you pull it just tight enough, you almost can't tell where it stops. And then pick a direction, left or right, whatever, and you're going to just go through a couple of these stitches back here. And again, we're going to go over it 3 times so that it stays put. So instead of skipping a stitch and going this way, I'm going to pull it over and go this way just to change it up. So then we'll go back a second time. And then the third pass over, I'll do the same thing. I'll go back a stitch more. Really secure these stitches. Okay, again, snip it off as close as we can. And there we go. We've just crocheted in the round using a magic circle or a magic ring.